Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On this special midweek podcast, my guest and I will be reviewing our match day 3 UEFA Champions League clash versus the Ukrainian side Shaktar from last night. And also check out the River Bar in Dublin City Centre, our official supporters club in Dublin. So sit back and enjoy the show. On the show tonight, as I said, I'm joined by my regular guest at this stage of the party, Eamonn Donnelly. How are you, Eamonn? And thanks for coming on this tonight.
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Liam. My wife asked me to pass the lipstick there the other day. I passed her a glue stick by mistake. She's still not talking to me.
He's still looking as fresh faced as ever. Eamonn, all these late dinners doing him the world of good.
I was working last night, yesterday in Carlingford and Louth, and I ended up going out to the pub for the match with somebody who shall remain nameless, another Arsenal fan who I could describe his the pace at which he drinks as like pouring it down an open shore. It's never good, you know. So,
well, I think to be honest with you, after watching last night, I had a few creamy ones myself, and I think alcohol's the best way of soothing your pain as an Arsenal fan. I'm also joined by Liam Gardner from the UK. It's been a while since we had you last on, Liam. I hope you're keeping well, pal, are you?
Yeah, good evening, mate. Good to be back on. But yeah, it's been quite a while, but yeah, all good here, mate. All good.
It's good to have you back, Liam, and glad to see you're well and all. Yes, of course, straight into the review, I suppose, from last night, match day 3 in the UEFA Champions League. 2 wins and a draw now, 7 points now from 3 games, and we're lying nicely. They're in the top 8 for position, I think. The main really highlights I have myself, lads, from last night, obviously, really, it was kind of a slow enough game, you know, a bit nervy at times, I suppose. Martinelli shot after just before the half-hour mark that rebounded off Shaktar's keeper, Riznik, who had a really good game, after saying fairness to the Ukrainian lads, you know, stopped a lot of shots from us. Mafienko, their centre-back, as well, had a good... How's it going, Derek?
What's the crack, lads?
Thanks for joining us. We're also joined by Derek Healy as well, another lifelong Gooner. Glad to have you on board, Derek, for tonight's podcast.
Thanks for inviting me.
We've just really started, Derek, so I'll get you in a second. Mafienko, the Shaktar defender, cleared brilliantly off the line when it looked like Kai Havertz was going to get his head on it. Obviously, Jesus then, just a couple of minutes before half time, had a shot save, from the legs of Riznik. Injury concerns, I suppose, from last night as well. Calafiori and Ben White came off at half time. Could be a bit of a worry, along with Saliba missing on Sunday for Liverpool. Obviously, Trossard's penalty, which 72nd minute that happens. I suppose kind of low in confidence after the mistake he made on Saturday. I don't know whether that was playing in his mind, but decent enough save from the diving keeper. But I thought he would have converted. But I think it was one of them nights where we just got out 1-0. We were happy enough after what happened Saturday, you know, just to get the 3 points. And obviously, late on in injury time, Ryan made that save from Pedrinho. What a save! And he just keeps coming up with them. Match game on game, it seems now. I thought Shaktar did a good blend of Brazilians there. Equinaldo, Pedrinho, Henrique and Kevin causes a few problems. And I thought, as I said earlier on, Riznik had a good game and goal for them. I want to come to you first of all, Eamonn, since you're a regular guest. Your take on last night's performance?
Job done. Didn't play well. Started off well. Wanted to get the job done early doors. We're lacking a bit of creativity. I said it on the show the other night. All of our midfielders are very good facing the ball. We don't have anybody in the team at the moment who's good on the transition, facing with their back to the opposition goal. Saka does that, Odegaard does that, and believe it or not, Monieri does that. I think last night would have been a good time for him to play. But I can see, understand. But look, at the end of the day, Mikel referenced it himself 2.5 days after Bournemouth. That was a very, very heavily watered pitch, playing with 10 men on Saturday evening. And he did say they got leggy in the second half. If you don't do it in the right moment, then not get by the right spaces, so well, look at my head, feel like a Lego block. But anyway, I just think that we tried to get the job done in the first half. We should have been outside. What I wouldn't give for a Gabriel Jesus goal. He should have scored. Beautiful layoff by Havertz. That would have been the moment, I think, that really kind of set us up, Martinelli was encouraging. And what I loved about the goal was actually the Calafiori overlap, because if you look at it again, Martinelli is thinking about maybe putting it across the box. Then the Calafiori overlap comes. The defender starts looking at Calafiori, gives Martinelli another meter, and he gets back inside and hits a shot. So, look, we're trying hard. We're lacking a creative spark because of the absence that we have. I mean, like Martin Odegaard has the imagination. For our older viewers of Liam Brady, for our not as old viewers, Robert Perez, and we're missing that, and we can't be too critical of the team. I thought what they did. Ben White's not an injury. Ben White was taken off because under no circumstances would we playing another half of football with 10 players, and have the legs running off us again. He just wasn't going to risk that. The Calafiori injury. Look, at sometimes knee twists can be. Theo Walcott going 2-0 to the Tottenham fans, and then the physio hobbles him in the dressing room. You don't see him again for another 9 months. Or sometimes they can be just knee twists. So hopefully that's not. One thing about Calafiori though that I've noticed, he's brilliant, right? But Jesus Christ, he throws himself in from all angles all of the time, and if he keeps doing that, he's going to get injured a lot. I'll just to cover one or two more points. I think the penalty had gone in, we would have just cantered home. I don't like those down the middle penalties. I just don't.
No, yeah.
I think a player should always have the confidence to try and put it in the corner. Trossard, the last couple of games, he's been a bit weird. I know I've often said he probably carries cable ties in the boot of his car and he looks like a serial killer, but he has been a little bit on the weird side lately. Even not striking the ball that well. But look, I wouldn't be too critical of this. I really think, a bit like the Atalanta game, Jonathan and Derek and Liam, we had one eye on the weekend and we tried to get the job done. We should have been out of sight. We weren't. And then I just think that we decided, well, look, we're going to have to suffer a bit of pain here. Our legs are gone. As Mikel did actually say, we weren't winning the ball back in the right areas. So when we came onto them, and that save by David Raya.
What a save.
Well, I'll tell you now, I watched it again just before it came on. And that's come through bodies and a fella ducking his head. That's an amazing save. That's an incredible save. But look, it's job done. I had to listen to Kenny Cunningham. I don't know what channel you were watching, Derek, over here, and Shaktar getting possession of the ball, getting possession of the football, higher up the pitch. How many times has he said higher up the pitch in any one program? But look, it leaves us well placed, doesn't it? Like the whole thing about Champions League football, and I'll finish on this and let the lads in. Like I was watching Atalanta and Celtic there. Atalanta absolutely pummeled Shaktar Donetsk.
Yeah. And
they struggled against Celtic, got a 0-0 draw. So it's Champions League football. You've got to get the 3 points. You've got to post your home games. I think genuinely we were one eye on the weekend, as we were when we played Atalanta in between Spurs and Man City. But this time we got the job done, and we've 7 points out of 3 games, and that is a very good position to be in. To be honest with you, I also thought having to take Thomas Partey out of midfield when he was having his best game for a long, long time, he was really at it, and he was running the game, and I thought that hurt us. But as I said, he wasn't going to risk playing another half or half an hour with 10 players. But look, job done. and we move on.
Yeah, it's a warm welcome as well to, as I said a few moments ago, Derek Healy from Delboy Gooner TV. Derek, what was your take on last night's 1-0 victory at the Emirates?
Yeah, look, we as Eamon says, look, it is Champions League football. It's it's like the international of club football. Like, you never know what you get. You never know what team you're going to get. I wanted a bit more. You know what I mean? Obviously, we all did. I think if the penna went in, as Eamon says there, we were home cruising, happy days. But the only thing I wanted, like being selfish, 2-3-0, and it sets you rightly up for the Liverpool game. And if Trossard scores that penalty, it's a bit more of a morale boost for him, because rightly so, he hasn't been playing well the last few games, and a goal can change that. Along with Jesus, and at the start of the game, I was there. Hopefully, he can get a goal as well, and get a bit of morale. And you never know then what can happen. The floodgates could open when Liverpool come to town. It didn't happen, but look, these games, it is hard to get a win. But then Villa are doing the opposite. Like, Villa are after winning 3 games or something like that. They're near the top anyway. Our ex-manager Emery doing a job there, and fair play to him.
Yeah.
We've injuries, suspensions and stuff like that as well. And I can understand why he took off Ben White. He thought it was a niggle, and I heard that he did thought he had a niggle, plus he had the yellow card as well. So you're just there thinking, if he gets an injury, if he gets another booking, another sent off, the media are just going to absolutely roast Arteta out of it. You know what I mean? Arsenal have no discipline, this, that, everything else. So that's the last thing we want coming into a big game as Liverpool. But I would have liked a bigger result, but I suppose professional at the end of the day as well. You know what I mean? You still have to win the games. 1-0 to the Arsenal. I'll take it. The whole injury thing with Calafiori, I think he's trying to impress too much. Do you know what I mean? I just think he's going in on silly sort of tackles, silly turns, and he doesn't need to do it. Just keep a cool head and just move along the ball, do what he did do. But I just think it's probably just down to him just trying to impress. And I think when he settles into the club a bit more, gets to know the players a bit more, I think we will see him, that player that we expect, you know what I mean, driving forward and stuff like that. I thought the save from Raya was absolutely quality, because rightly so, what Eamon says, it went through a few bodies. He caught it on the forearm. You know what I mean? Instant reaction. It was absolutely quality save. I'd like to give a bit of criticism. It wouldn't be me if it didn't. I suppose the midfield area and the midfield party, he was probably one of the best. I want to see Declan Rice the way he was at West Ham, and maybe it's because of the style we play. When he's getting the ball, he's driving forward, but he's looking like a bit of a crab at the minute, and maybe that's just because he's having to cover and stuff like that. But I want to see that Declan Rice, when he gets the ball, break up play and drive on and drive forward. You know what I mean? Have that other option. Give him that free ticket to Rome, because I thought when Mourinho came into the team, I thought that he was going to cover up that role and give Declan Rice the free license to actually sort of push on and go forward. But I suppose, look, maybe it's because Martin Odegaard isn't around and he can't sort of do that. He has to have the one eye on the sort of defending role, and that's fair enough. The one thing, another thing is in Wari, I thought last night was a good opportunity to start him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's a young fella, and we've learned in the last few seasons, and Mikel Arteta has learned with Smith Rowe, with Saka, he threw them in when they were really young, threw them in and just goes, my job's under pressure here, lads. Let's go for it. You know what I mean? And I thought last night, I says, right, you know, we had the three sort of defensive midfielders. We're at home. Shaktar Ness, we should be doing it. Throw him in, let him off, give him a little free roam. Just go out and express yourself and see what you can do. We all know he's a great player, and I just thought last night would have been a great for him to start. But as I said, as Eamonn says, look, we got the points, 3 points. I'll take it all day long. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, I thought in fairness, Lewis Skelly had a quite good game when he came on as well. He looks fairly solid as well, pretty physically well built as well, and athletic, you know, and he's not afraid to put himself about. So for being so young, like and Weirdy, they're showing years above, you know, their age, aren't they? You know, and that's credit to Arteta, you know, with his management of players as well, especially the younger type. Yeah, I thought last night's game, I do agree with yourself and Aim that match was made for Nan Weirdy. I think he would have caused Shaktar a lot of problems. You know, I just didn't think we had that player to trouble them all night. You know, I thought we gave them probably just too much respect. But in fairness, they had a game plan themselves. Shaktar went there with no fear, and you know, you see that a lot with the Ukrainian teams, you know, and another good test. And I think before we come to Liam, I know you're waiting a while, Liam. I think the most refreshing thing of all this campaign is three clean sheets in a row now in the Champions League, and that's only be a good base, isn't it, for moving forward? You know.
Yeah.
I know you've been waiting on the bench a while there, Liam. Still with us, thank God. Your take on last night's match, Liam?
Yeah, we just got the job done, didn't we, at the end of the day? I think if you look over the course of the last couple of seasons in Europe, I think we go out in the European games just to do enough. I think the problem we got is because of the level or the bar of Man City in the Premier League, that I think we have to try and consume as much energy as we can do for the Premier League games. And I think that's our number one priority. And I've just felt over the last 2 to 3 seasons that we do enough. Like the Paris Saint-Germain game. We done the job in the first half, then we was happy to sit back in the second half. And I think it got to a point yesterday, I totally agree with you guys. Firstly, the injuries obviously are costing us a massive bit, and he's unable to rotate. And he has now got a squad that he should be able to rotate, but we're in this unfortunate situation where we have probably got more fullbacks than 2 or 3 clubs put together, but we can't field any fullbacks. And it's a massive, massive problem at the moment for us. It's an absolute massive problem. And I know we're not talking about Sunday, but when you look at Sunday now, the defence, we don't know what the defence is going to look like. And for all the work they've done with the squad, it's just been really unfortunate over the last 2 months, the amount of injuries we got. And I think that last night we went out there with the intention of just getting the job done, get the 3 points and get out of there, basically. And I think you could see that in the second half. And it did nearly come to bite us in the backside when Raya had to make that save. And yeah, I agree with the 2 lads. Like, that save is much better than what it actually looks like at first instinct, because it did go through a amount of people and it was going at speed as well. So yet again, David Raya has obviously done his work for the evening. And yeah, I was disappointed last night, but when I woke up this morning, I thought, you know what, it's 3 points. No one's going to remember this game in March or April. We're not going to talk about Shaktar at home in 3-4 months' time. Do you know what I mean? So it's 3 points. I expect Inter Milan to be the same. We'll go to Inter, and I think we'll try and shut up shop. I think it'd be exactly the same. And I just think we'll just try and get enough points on the board to try and get into the top eight of this league, and hopefully not have to face the playoff.
Yeah, how disappointed were you with the penalty from Trossard? Do you think that was just kind of like a confidence thing, maybe from the weekend playing on his mind, or do you just think, you know, as Eamonn says, hitting him down the middle is a big gamble, isn't it? You know, there's always that chance.
If I'm Kai Havertz, I'm about to score my 8th goal in 8 games in the Emirates. Yeah. About to break a record. I expect him to be ripping that ball out of Trossard's hands. Yeah. And that's probably where I want to see that little bit more from Kai Havertz now, to say, do you know what? I'm the main man. I'm the striker. I'm taking this penalty. For me, he should have took that penalty all day long last night. And we don't know if he would have scored it or not. But that's what I want to see from Kai Havertz. Now, if Kai Havertz wants to be a 20, 25 goal plus, he needs to be grabbing them opportunities. And I was a bit disappointed that when the penalty was given, that Trossard was stepping up for it. And it's not that I'm disappointed that Trossard was taking it. I'm disappointed that for me, Kai Havertz should have been grasping at that opportunity, and I think he needs to be a bit more selfish at times. So for me, that was a little blip there. But I think Trossard at times tries too much as well. I think he obviously made the mistake at the weekend. That obviously led to Saliba sending off. I think he's done a fairly good job for us, if I'm being totally honest, at the start of this season. But I'm totally in the camp as well. One area. Why are we not giving him an opportunity? Like, we see what he did. And I know it's only Bolton Wanderers, but we see what he did against Bolton Wanderers. If you had put him out there last night, he would not have let you down. He'd have been grasping for it. And do you know what will happen now? He'll play against Preston away. He'll probably do something quite special then. And then it's like, when do we give him his next opportunity? Like, he come on against Leicester and he changed the whole direction of that game in the instinct that he come on. Give him a game. Just give him a game. You've got, like you said, you've got Thomas Partey, who's getting back into really good form in centre mid. You've got Declan Rice beside him. Can you be sitting next to two better centre midfielders as a 17-year-old? Get him out there, let him play football.
But Liam, as things stand, he's the only player that we have that when we're trying to transition the ball from defence to attack, that can take it on the spin.
Yep.
You know, and that you need, like, Martin Odegaard can do that, and Bukayo Saka can do everything. You know, but the two of them, when we're transitioning the ball, they can take the ball. Saka's touch takes him on the spin, always takes him into danger. I don't mean danger for him, danger for the opposition, right? Martin's the same. Etan has a turn on him that's like that, and that's missing from the team. Our three midfielders are very, very good facing the play, you know, and we don't have that. But I disagree with you a bit on the Kai Havertz thing. I actually think the fact that he didn't take the penalty sums up what he gives to the team. He doesn't give a shit about records. He's selfless, that guy. He plays for the team, and he has become our benchmark now. He's Mr. Consistency week in and week out. Always puts in a shift. Always does intelligent things. His little ball to Jesus for the one that Jesus missed.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. He did it late.
Yeah.
It fooled everybody, you know. So you know, I just think that he probably didn't take the penalty. Maybe there was an element of, well, like you said yourself, Liam, well, Trossard made a bags of things on Saturday. Maybe give him a bit of confidence the way he was given confidence last year and all of that type of thing. I think he's a selfless player, and I'm glad we have him, you know.
I just think that he is the better option. Like, that's no disrespect to Trossard. I just think that he is the better option. Like at that moment of time,
well, he'd have scored. He'd have scored. He'd have scored.
Yeah, of course he would.
Of course he would have scored.
Yeah, of course he would. But I can't say 100% score, but I'm quite confident if he steps up that he does score the goal. I totally agree with what you're saying in terms of, like, he's very selfless. Like, what he gives that team, no one else gives that team. Like, the first game of the season against Wolves, we took him out the striker's position for the last 6-7 minutes of the game and put him back into attack centre midfield. You could tell in that 7 minutes how much that we miss him not in that role. So for me, like, he's become the key output for us now, and like, what he's done over the last year for us in terms of changing his game around, his confidence around, is nothing short of mind blowing, really. And I'm really happy with him, but I would have liked him to take it last night.
Sorry to go across, Liam. Like, I think if Odegaard was there last night, I think Havertz takes that penalty. I think Odegaard would have actually just goes, no, lads, it's not a time to give someone a confidence boost. It's not Arsenal getting their 2-0 and getting the 3 points. You know, and yeah, like I think with just going back to Inari there as well, it would have set us up nicely. Like, I think we're all agreeing that if he starts the game, you know what I mean. If he does a few tricks or a nice few runs, a few passes, score, assist, whatever. Maybe you don't want to start him against the Liverpool game, but if you're bringing him on for the Liverpool game, their management then starts going, oh shit, we seen what he done against Shaktar Donetsk. He has that trickery about him. He has that, like, you know, directness. He'll go for it, and then all of a sudden, if whatever sort of stage the game is at, if you're if it's 0-0, 1-1, or if Arsenal are chasing, it gives Liverpool something to think about, you know, and that's where I think Arteta just missed the trick on that one, like, you know. And I'm sorry to call across you there, Liam.
No.
Lads, I mean, what I'd say, and I'll finish on this, right? Because I know we're doing a quick shot, and I'll finish on this. Sometimes, every now and then, you get generational players, right? And Liam Brady was a generational player, so he was put into the middle of the park at 17, right? Cesc Fabregas was a generational player. He was put into the middle of the park at 17, you know. Bukayo Saka is a generational player. He was put on the team at 17. This guy is good enough, you know. And I think we'll see a lot more of him. I just think that last night was, because it's Champions League, it's important, but it was just something that was in the way of a big game at the weekend, in my view.
Pleased were you with Miles Skelly's performance, Eamon, last night? He looks a bit of a talent as well, doesn't he?
This boy can play. This boy will be a good player, you know. I don't know. I trust him. I mean, I think the reason why he brought him on was because, just in case, I think Timber will be back for the weekend, by the way. But just in case he's not, you know, he's gonna go with experience. He's gonna go with Zinchenko, right? And I know everybody's going, oh no, not Zinchenko again. But 2 seasons ago, we wouldn't have been saying that, okay? But I just think that he felt that if Zinchenko's coming back from an injury, the last thing we need now to do is bring Zinchenko on and for him to get a strain, you know. So I think that's why that happened, you know.
How did you think, Derek, Gabriel Jesus played last night? There's a kind of a bit of pressure on him, isn't there, to start, you know, that kind of hefty price tag. I know he's been blighted by injuries since he really came to us, but, you know, as Eamon says, that chance he had at the end of the first half, do you think if he scored that, you know, could have lifted a bit? I thought he had a decent enough game, though, hadn't he? He got into positions there where kind of Saka gets in, hadn't he?
Yeah, he's getting into them positions, and, you know, he's just not scoring. I think as Arsenal fans, we wanted a striker in the summertime. You know what I mean? When I say a striker, we wanted a 20+ goals striker.
Yeah.
We all know that Jesus isn't going to get us them type of numbers, you know. And this for me is to kick on, you know what I mean, to make that step further and actually win the league. But like Jesus last night, it just didn't work for him, you know. If we're giving out free, like, you know, morale boosting penalties, why didn't he take it? You know what I mean? And he had the captain's armband as well, you know. And I know the way it happened, Trossard took it and so on and so forth. But I think Jesus himself should have been a bit selfish and just goes, no, I'm taking it, and get that goal. Will he start against Liverpool? He probably will. You know, if we don't have Saka, like, you know, available. Trossard hasn't been playing the best the last few games. For me, it's between Trossard and Gabriel. If Saka comes back, we don't know. I know he didn't train the last few days, but, you know, we never know with Arteta. He might just spring it upon us that he'll be available for selection. But the
guy wouldn't believe a word out of Arteta's mouth when it comes to
I know. Yeah.
and long may it continue. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, like that's what I mean. On Thursday,
it was leg balls off in the moment, and then he might be fit to play.
Yeah.
It's that Lego hairstyle always gets me with Arteta. It's just fine out of here.
Yeah. It was only a minor decapitation he suffered. He'd be grand in the morning.
It's a hairstyle Eamon would have been proud of back in the day.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the Lego head here myself, but it's fucking.
Tell you what, mate. I know it's probably different in real life, but on the small screen, you have a chance.
Yeah. I've just have to get a
better chance than I have, anyway. You know.
Yeah, it looks sweet over there. Yeah, I suppose it was a tough game last night, lads. You're a man of the match, Eamon, from last night. I know it was a tough watch, but
I think if he had been shunted off the right back, I think I'd have given it to Thomas Partey if he'd continued the way he was playing. He was
Yeah.
boss the game, but he didn't. So I'm giving it to Kai Havertz.
Yeah. Again. Yeah. He's becoming our favourite man of the match on this show. Derek, who stood out for you last night?
Yeah, look, I suppose Martinelli done a little bit of, you know, he had a small bit about him as well, like, you know what I mean? And I like the way he was very energetic, like, you know what I mean? He towards the back end of last season, he sort of got in a rut, and he, you know, his energy that we need wasn't there. And I liked seeing it last night. And look, I know the keeper didn't have much to do last night, but to pull off a save like that, and as we said, going through a few bodies as well, you know, I would give it to Martinelli, but I just wanted to mention Raya as well. Like, you know what I mean? Absolutely, you know.
I have to say, what I really admire about David Raya is his concentration levels are 100% from minute one to the last minute. You know, even I know Ramsey came out and says he wasn't always he always found it hard to concentrate for the 90, you know, but I think Raya, when he's called upon and is usually when he's very little to do, he's still there, you know, his mindset is still, you know, I have to say, what a world-class save and that.
I think like any top-class, world-class goalie will tell you that. Like, you know, it's the days that you don't have much to do, but it's that one shot, and next thing it goes in, and Arsenal are in big trouble then. Like, you know, it's a different podcast then. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, after that, that was it was a vital save, and I think that really wrapped up the 3 points for that save in itself. Yeah. Liam, your man of the match from last night?
Yeah, I think probably I agree. I think if he played second half in that position, probably Thomas Partey. Thought Martinelli, he had a decent game. It's definitely getting a bit of confidence back. But I'm going to go Raya for the save again. I just think that he's won us the 3 points at the end of the day with that save, and we could have been sitting there a little bit differently, couldn't we, if that had gone in? And I think that's what's, like, don't get me wrong, he hasn't had to do masses last night, but he's made that save at the key time. So I just think that it just probably shades it for me with that save. And he's like, what I say about him as well is that he's so confident coming out for balls and all that kind of stuff. Like, the assurance that he gives that defence is like no other. And it's no surprise that since he's come in and he's been able to play like 15, 20 games with that defence, that you can see the confidence in the defence now is all because he's behind that, and he's been a great addition to us. He got a lot of flack when he first come in, rightly or wrongly, because obviously the selection process at the time, but he's overridden that, and he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league now.
He's one of the best goalkeepers. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
Yeah. To be fair, if you're one of the best goalkeepers in this league, you are in the world, aren't you? With the level, because we got some really good goalkeepers in it, but we got some good goalkeepers in this league, haven't we? We've got world-class goalkeepers in this league, and that's what I'm putting him up against now. I probably wouldn't have done that a year ago when he first signed, but he's as good as anyone who's in the league.
And can I just say, even like his shot stopping is quality, but his distribution as well off the ball is quality.
But as well as that, Derek, you're not feeling like an extra in Nightmare on Elm Street when a cross comes in.
Yeah.
He just commands the area, you know?
Yeah.
That's what we've lacked, he brings so much confidence to that back line, doesn't he? They trust him. You know, you can see the trust they have in him. He's an excellent signing, I have to say. I know Spurs were after him for years, even before us, but I'm glad we have him now. And that's by far the number one we've been wanting for years, really. The result leaves us in fourth as it stands. 7 points now from 3 games, and we couldn't have asked for anything better than that, and 3 clean sheets as well. And as Eamon said the last time we were on, but for the PSG, it's just the format to this is just mad, you know, but it's brilliant, isn't it? It's just unscripted, man.
It's organised chaos. It's brilliant, you know?
There's no other way to describe it. It's just, we all know 1 to 8 qualify for the last 16, 9 to 16 gets seeded for the 2-legged playoff, and 17 to 24 unseeded, and obviously 25 to 36 it's good night in terms of that. But I think it's the Champions League we've all kind of wanted to see, you know. And the thing is, as Eamon said and myself 2 weeks ago after the PSG, every game matters in this. You know, there is no time for slip-ups. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it's what makes
And there you go. You see, look, I'm kind of itching to get off the show now because I want to log into Bayern and Barcelona because all the games are connected. Whereas before, you only looked at your own group.
Yeah,
You know?
it's great, isn't it? Every match counts for something. And
Every match counts. Yeah.
It's every game I've watched over the 3 match days. They've had plenty of goals, but the excitement and because you're not playing home and away each team, it's just great. You don't like it's like a lucky where you're getting next. But yeah, it's been a brilliant show, lads. We're gonna all rush off and see the matches now coming up to half time. Just like to thank Eamonn Donnelly, as always. Thanks for coming on, pal. To Del Boy, Gooner there himself, Derek Healy. Thanks. Terrific debut, and keep that hairline going.
Oh yeah. I'll grow it longer. Next week I'll be like Calafiore.
In this moment, I bought it off Fisher Price.
It's very rare first timers get confidence of Eamonn, so take that.
I'll take it.
A very impressive debut, I have to say, and of course to our UK Gooner, Liam Gardner. Thanks very much for coming on, pal. Great to have you back.
Cheers.
And this show will be up tomorrow, thanks to Martin Stoneville who edits this. So until then, have a great week, lads, and thanks for coming on.
Lads, I'm dashing off. See you.
Good boys.